Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the LFC Toronto show. My name's Azaz. I've got Jake, as always, Dan, and this week we've got another special member of the LFC community, the megaphone himself. So Ahmed, what's up, man? Welcome to the LFC Toronto show.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to be invited to this. I've checked out a couple of them before, and everyone who doesn't know, my name is Ahmed, nicknamed Mo at the pub. And I first came into the pub, which was in August 2017. I was 18 years old back then, very young, and most people couldn't remember my name when I told them my name was Ahmed. And I told them, just call me Mo, Mohammed, Ahmed, very similar. Ever since then, it's been said it all over the place, all over the pub. And ever since I first came to the pub, I always wanted to meet different Liverpool fans. And because I never had the opportunity back from the UAE to meet many Liverpool fans. And I was very glad about it. And I watched Liverpool beat Arsenal 4-0, and I decided to chant. And I knew some of the people wanted to chant, so I decided to continue chanting. And ever since then, it's been the same story.
Who said your name was? Who said it was? Who Mo? Who did that? Who's the first person? We're gonna fix them. When we go back to the pub, we're gonna sort that out.
No, he said it, man. He said it.
No, I know that.
He was like, "Yeah, you know what? You just call me Mo. It's fine."
They couldn't pronounce it. That's what I'm saying. They couldn't sort it out.
Okay. Who can't pronounce one of the most common names in the world? But anyway.
Yeah, I'm saying he's our boy. We got to sort it out.
No, he's our boy, and I just want to say you are our MVM. You know how it's MVP, most valuable player. MVM is most vocal member. You know what I mean? That's what I just want to say. You know what I mean? Vocal and valuable too. I would even say valuable too. So I just want to say, so happy that you're on, man.
I'm glad to be here, honestly, and definitely willing to sacrifice my vocal cords for the everyone to enjoy in the pub. Yeah, definitely.
That's right.
The one thing is though, you got, and we'll fix this in you as well. You got to also keep singing when we're losing. Remember the chant from earlier in the year? Like, we just got to make that little tweak, because it's like the Liverpool thing is we sing even when in fact, we sing more when we're losing rather than we're winning. But honestly, Mo, you're such a pleasure to be at the pub with. Like, it's incredible, like the atmosphere you bring and just the ruckus and like your like projection, like your decibels are like, honestly, man, like that's a pair of lungs that you have on you right there.
Yeah, honestly, I hope I don't ruin them with smoking, but definitely love singing. And ever since, I've been watching a lot of videos of the Cop at Anfield and You'll Never Walk Alone, I always thought I'd love to be there. I'd love to be at the Cop, love to start a chant. So the pub is like my mini Anfield, and so I'm glad going there all the time.
So Mo, where did it start for you? Like you had mentioned the UAE. Like, I was actually born in the UAE as well. I moved here when I was young. But like, how did it start for you? Where was it over there when you found Liverpool, or grew up with it, or how did it go?
Yeah.
What's your background story? Yeah.
I was born in Jordan. I moved to UAE when I was a year old, so I was technically, lived there most of my life. And when I was younger, when I was young, like 6, 7, I wasn't really a big fan of football at first, until my dad kept on forcing me. This is the sport we play. This is the best sport in the world. And then that's when I started liking it more and more. And then I decided to watch. And then I asked him who the teams he support. And the two teams he mainly stressed on were Liverpool and Juventus. And ever since then, I couldn't like them equally. Always been like, there's always a team I'll always prefer, and that's Liverpool. Steven Gerrard, Torres, Carragher. And ever since then, I watched my first full season as a 9-year-old in 2008 and 9, the full season. Watched it. And that's when I started falling in love with the team. They were great that season, and won the league that season. And ever since then, I've stuck by them. Even though we had some tough patches, I've still stuck by them. Even though in school I'd get bullied, even though I was a bigger guy, like getting bullied I wasn't used to getting bullied, but they go, Slippy G, Liverpool. But then now look at us right now. We're we're shutting them all up. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And now they look at me and they're like, "Oh, Liverpool are a fantastic team. We can't say anything wrong about them." I'm like, yeah, exactly. And ever since then, it really, you know, all the suffering really really paid off in the end. Like suffering, you know, like we were so good and then we weren't that good, and now we're better than we ever were, maybe.
Does it?
And hopefully it stays that way.
Does it make it feel extra sweeter? Like I always feel that way. Like Azaz and Jake too. I mean, do you guys feel extra like sort of like now that we're just enjoying this amazing patch, it feels even better, or is it kind of like the same? I just wondered that.
I think it feels even better than always. Like for example, Real Madrid supporters, their team's always going to be in the two.
Yeah,
it's never the same.
Bayern Munich, and you know they're just used to, you know, yeah. Right.
Exactly. It just feels awesome right now, especially with the manager we have, the players we have, and the build up from 2015 to now, and even to 2019. That was just we were the best team in the world for a period of time, and I still think we are the best team in the world. And it's a great time to be a Liverpool fan. Absolutely.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I feel so. Are you Jordanian then?
Yeah, Jordanian.
Oh, wow. Amazing, man. Two of my very close friends are Jordanian. One's a United fan, one's a Liverpool fan. They both live in DC. So if one of them comes up, then we're going to have to go grab food or something. Because I didn't know you were Jordanian. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Palestinian,
Yeah.
Jordanian. But lived in Jordan.
Yeah.
Always been to Jordan and family. And it's odd. In Jordan, it's always a Real Madrid-Barcelona conflict. Like,
yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, just like most of the Middle East, Barcelona.
Yeah. Well, as I was saying, the two guys who I know are one's United, die-hard United, and one's a Liverpool fan. So it's like, it's amazing to see. And obviously, we know our team represents all over the world. They're the foremost global teams. Like, come on, like, you know, I know you have to like throw a bone to some of the other teams, but like those four teams are the ones that are like truly globally everywhere. And I don't think we have any Arsenal or Juventus or anyone fans watching this anyway. So yeah, if I offend you, my bad. But like really,
get in the
like
comments, guys.
But the foremost global teams are those four, right?
Yeah.
Has to be said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Biggest teams in the world, biggest rivalries as well. Oh,
yeah.
In terms of like success, shout out to Celtic Rangers, one of the best rivalries in the world.
Sure.
But
Boca, River, the rivalries are everywhere, but like just in terms of like scale as to like how big like the big teams are. One last question, and we'll get more into the episode and talk about football. How did you find the club? What was that journey all about? Did you Google it? Did you just like find it on social media? Did your friend tell you about it?
Jake on the street.
Yeah.
That happens to many. So
yeah.
You know. Or at the gym,
I Googled it. I started to know if there is a Toronto Liverpool supporters club, and found it with Scallywags back then, and went there to watch. First game was, I think, when we beat Hoffenheim away 2-0 in that playoff. That was the first game to watch.
Trent's free kick, right?
Trent, I remember his first goal. Yeah.
And ever since then, I've been wanting to go there more and more. And it was such a great community. Like, I've been to other supporters clubs just for the sake of curiosity, and I wouldn't want to mention them right now, but like they aren't as good. Yeah, I don't want anyone going crazy in the comments, but they aren't as good. The community isn't as tight knit as we are, and ever since then we've been growing. And of course, there's even bigger things ahead. Jake always mentions, Dan always mentions that there's always bigger things ahead, and I'm proud to be a part of this family.
Yeah, I just want to say that. When you're at Scally's, you and I was going to say the Young Bucks, but the upper cop that was created was on a different level, and you can see some of those videos on our social media of those times and the amazing atmosphere that was created. So I implore you to go on our socials and find those videos. But you know, we are recreating those same environments today, and it's continuing on and it's growing, which is absolutely fantastic.
And a large part of that is him.
Yeah, kudos to
this
you.
man right here.
Yeah,
is, you know, so appreciate you. Appreciate your energy.
And one more thing, I don't even know if he remembers this, but like one of my favorite things about Ahmed as well is at the Christmas party when you just started singing,
yes,
Tonight We Are Young. Honestly, like for no reason, it was and you sang the whole song. You sang the whole song as well.
I love it.
Couldn't love you more than in that moment, because we were like singing Liverpool songs. We were passing the mic back and forth. And then randomly out of nowhere, you just started singing Fun, We Are Young. And you're like, this is my favorite song. And just sang the whole thing. And I was like, this guy's amazing. Like, it's like totally out of context. And it just still fits so well. So that's my actual favorite memory of you so far.
I think my favorite memory of you was when you joined in for the singing that day as well. That was a great night.
Which leads us to this thing, Jake. It's not
Rewind. Couple days to go. Tickets are going fast. There's not money left, so please, you know, we've got some good freebies, great environment. We've got Dan and the Benny Men singing a storm and preparing their tune list. We've got our fantastic, one of our favorite games of all time as a Liverpool fan against Barca. And it's going to be a momentous evening. If you're not doing anything, if you're a member, come for some free pints. If you're not, please join us. Yes, sir.
Are Barca fans that we know of invited too? Maybe we can bring a couple just to watch the game again. You know,
I mean, after that game, they kind of want to be a Liverpool fan. They want to be a Liverpool member. Like, you know, I'm all for that. But it's going to be a really great night. And again, as Ahmed mentioned, we are a very close and tight-knit community, and it's great. We love one another. We sing, we dance, we cheer in the good times and bad. So we're going to have another piece of that on Friday. And so it's going to be a great night. So please come out. We've got some appetizers, we've got some prizes, we've got some things going on. So please go on the website, get a ticket. If you're not a member, get a membership, but it'll pay for itself in 2 seconds. So please do that. It's
in 2 drinks. Like, you got free drinks. 2 drinks. Like, yeah, in 2 drinks, you pay your membership back. It's a hack. It's a hack, I tell you. Just sign up and get it done. Yeah. So at this point in the show, normally, for those who watch regularly, they'll know this. If you're new to the show, what have you been waiting for? Please like and subscribe and share with your friends. But at this point in the show, we usually look back onto the weekend, which was an amazing game for the neutrals, the Nottingham Forest game. But you know what? I'm going to scrap that, because this is the moment. We normally hate international weeks, even though I'm repping Canada here, because Canadians doing us proud.
Get in.
But normally we hate international breaks, and right now, even more than normal, because we're in this whole momentum. So we're actually going to spend the next little while just like thinking, dreaming, foreshadowing. You're allowed to be cautious. You're allowed to be optimistic. You're allowed to be cautiously optimistic. You can be your realist self right now. But how are we seeing what's going to happen right now? You know, Gerard Houllier once famously said, my team is 10 games from greatness. We're like, 16 games potentially from greatness? Yeah. What on earth? How have we done this? Like, how are we here? Like, we are almost like, it's going to be the best end to the season. It might not end the best because we've won trophies before, but at this point in the season, up to this point, the 23rd of March, it's the best season of our life so far. Anyone want to take it away?
Dan, what do you think? What do you think, buddy?
Yeah. I mean, how do you top that sort of lead in right there, right? Like, massive, man. Like, just on all fronts. And we're winning when we're not playing well, right? Like, that's the thing that gets me. We're getting the results by interchanging multiple parts, integrating new squad players in. You have Taki and Div on the bench, and they've scored some big goals for us this season, like big goals, and they're not even factoring into matches. You have Millie on the bench, experience, just leading by example on the training pitch. Harvey, I was watching the video today with with Diogo and on LFC.com and Thiago and Costas. Oh my God, another guy. So like it's just an embarrassment of riches we have right now. And I feel like it's a total squad effort. It's not just like, Mo doing, I mean, Mo has been just unbelievable, and Mo here has been unbelievable, but like Mo and Sadio and Bobby, front three, everybody raves about that. But like it's really everybody, even the Tyler Mortons, even the, you know what I mean? Like you're getting contributions everywhere. Nat pulling the Bolton Baresi kind of thing, versus Milan. Like, I mean, like just like a season in review of this season, even if it stopped today, would be amazing. And so I just don't want to jinx it. I'm kind of like one of those superstitious dudes, I just don't want to be like, we're gonna do it, and like, something happens, Trent's out, maybe longer or something like that. Like that's the thing. I'm kind of just, something. I just hope it's not outside of the pitch. You know what I mean? Something like COVID or something. Like any of those things. Yeah. But if we're on the pitch and we have a squad, honestly, sky's the limit. You know what I mean? What do you guys think, Mo? What do you think about that? Sorry, Ahmed.
I think when we got to the League Cup final, I thought to myself, this is an important cup final, because even if the season doesn't end the way we want it to end, we have something to look at. But now we set ourselves in a position where we can win it all, and this has never been done before in English football. Even Manchester City's heroics during the last couple of 3-4 years, they couldn't do it either, and we have the best chance in doing it. It's a lot of pressure on the players and Jurgen for sure, but I believe Jurgen, he knows how to handle his players. He's been through positions like this many times before, and hopefully the players don't look at it like, oh, we must win or else. No. Just play your football. We're playing the right way. We're getting the results, even when, just like you mentioned, even when we're not playing our best football. Just like against Nottingham Forest. We'll get to that later, I know, but like we're not playing our best football there. One game which I really thought was crucial was when we played Wolverhampton Wanderers in December. We were 0-0 until the 92nd minute, and then of all people, or should I say, of course, Divock Origi.
Man.
Even though we had like a tough spell at the end of that month with that really weird game against Tottenham and Chelsea, we couldn't beat Chelsea that day. But even though we had the injuries, we have the bench that can really fulfill the expectations of the club in every game. Like Kelleher, honestly, I wasn't really a big fan of Kelleher. It's mainly not because of his abilities, more like I always have a tendency to favor big, giant goalkeepers like Alisson, or shout out to Thibaut Courtois, for example. I've always liked these big guys. Or Kelleher is a bit more timid, but he still proved himself. He went to the League Cup final, started the League Cup final, and won us the game in penalties. It's really a whole squad effort, and if they just continue the same way, and even though we have a big game against Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final and the league, we just need to focus on our football and not really look at the other teams, and we can do it.
I think that week after week after week, as we're doing this show, it just seems that our schedule gets tougher and tougher and tougher and tougher. Did we think that we're going to draw City again? Right? And our last few games, okay, fine, Benfica's still a good squad. I don't care. Like, they're in the Champions League, they're in the thing. So kudos to them. But did we think we have a relatively tough, not saying we're not going to try to win the league games, but it just feels like we're playing City every other week, essentially. But we have a hard, and so if we, knock on wood, right, and we all know this, if we succeed in what we think we can succeed, going back in the track record of the events of all these like 100 games that we have played in this year, and going back to see all the teams that we have beaten, I don't care in which manner, method, however you want to call it, Kepa skying the penalty over, like Kelleher saving, just so many different things, the last minute Minamino stuff to like, Origi stuff. And every single player literally on the squad has a highlight package of things they've done well in the season and to contribute to the winning ways. And we look back, if we did this quadruple, and we look back and we beat City 4 times, we beat this team 3 times, we beat this, it is going to, like, I think at the end it'll hit us on a different level, because yes, we've been having some really good sides in the past. But this will look at a whole different, like, we already know what we feel about the squad, that they're on a different level. But then achieving the actual goals and beating these teams, and then reviewing that, and then looking at us against any other club in the entire world of going through this iteration is going to be on a different level. And
could I say
run?
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, sorry, I know you're gonna jump in, but like I just wanted to say this. That's Liverpool. Can you imagine? We also had our main guys, go to AFCON and meet in the final, and then go to kicks, and then
I've got chills. I've actually got chills going down my spine. I'm being serious. Like, it's crazy. The story of this season is crazy already.
Man.
Already, it's crazy.
Unbelievable.
If Hollywood had written it so far, I know what I'm like when I'm watching movies or TV shows. I'm usually like, bullshit. Like, this would never happen. You know, like, hang on a second. Like, your 2-star strikers are going to go to AFCON. They're going to go all in. We're here, like, texting in the WhatsApp group being like, oh, like, Egypt went down, I think, in their first game or something. And we were like, Mo's going to come back first, you know? And, like, these guys go to the end. And everyone was like, Liverpool need to take a lead in the season because in January it's going to get pulled back because there's not going to be any Mo and there's going to be no Mane and Keita. All three of them are going to be gone, and that's when we were 14 points behind. And here we are on March the 23rd, and we're 1 point behind. It's actually crazy, the whole thing, and even just like the little bit of like. What would you call it? Like shithousery that's happening right now. Like Trent's injured, you know, like he can't, you know, he's not going to play for that. He can't play for England. And then like the next day after the Forest game, Pierce comes out and says in The Athletic, although the hamstring injury is not as bad as it seemed. Oh, really? Like, honestly? Right. And then same thing with Robbo. So obviously, unfortunately, they were supposed to have like a playoff and they can't have that because of the situation in Ukraine. So now I think they're playing Poland. Yeah. Robbo's not playing, you know, like Scotland captain pulling out. So there's even these little like micro moments. If somebody tells me that there's not an all or nothing or something being filmed about this for real, like I will be devastated. Like in my head somewhere, I'm like, something is documenting all of this.
So I'm going to ruffle some feathers right now. I said it before the show, and just on that point, we're all feeling good. We just recapped it, blah, blah. I'm going to ruffle some feathers. What could derail us? Beyond injuries and COVID, let's say. I'm going to throw this grenade out there. The Mo situation. What are we going to do about that? I was going to say. Let's talk about that. Contract. Let's talk about that.
That contract.
Rami up in his business. Exactly. Like, what are we going to do about this? What if it turns into whatever?
Look at Harvey, right? Did today Harvey put out something?
Yeah.
He's like, please, like, give him, you know, That's been weighing on us for, of course, the whole year. But now it's getting closer and closer and closer. And what do? We break the structure. It's in everyone's minds. Is he coming? Is he going? And then, of course, the other day, and even Azaz put the numbers out on his Instagram about how many goals he scored, right? The assists that's happened, and compared to our own guys and the Prem in the last like duration, and to think, I can't even think that couldn't be a Liverpool player. Like I can't even go down that path. But that contract is on the minds of every single person, inside, outside, every single press conference. Jurgen is dealing with it. Every single press is, and he gets pissed off. He's getting upset, saying, "Are you kidding me? Like, you just told me this. You just told me this 2 days ago. You're gonna tell me again. You're gonna tell me again on the weekend. You're gonna tell me it's like 5 press conferences, you know." So it's weighing on them, right? Like, Mo, what do you think? What do you think?
Gut feel, man.
Yeah, the Mo Salah situation is a big issue because even lately we've been seeing his performances, and you know, many world-class players might not perform really well in a month or two in given a whole season of 8-9 months. But I'm comparing Mo Salah right now in the last month compared to how he was in October. And there's a big difference. In October,
very valid.
Players shooting, scoring, right foot, left foot. Right now, and there's an issue I always feel like with the Egyptian media related to Mohamed Salah. Always have to put it out that they always mess with his head. They always do. And
really, yeah.
yeah, because unlike most other nations where they just praise their player, I can't think of an example off the top of my head. Maybe like Japan and Minamino, they definitely think, wow, he's a world-class player. He plays for the national team, he plays for Liverpool. But Egypt always have that issue where, he isn't as good as he should be. Oh, well, how come he's on the Ballon d'Or? Oh, he's great. He's one of the best players. He's ours. He's a pride of the whole Arab world, let alone Egypt. But there's still something missing. Like, they still can't, they always mess with his head, and especially the sponsorship issues, and there's a lot of things that he has to deal with other than Liverpool. And even though he's in a club where we all love him, where we all cherish him, we want him to play well, we sing his song out loud at the Cop, at Scally's, at Maddie's, everywhere. There's always that thing in the back of his head. And now this is where the situation just gets a bit worse, is the contract situation. And Mane hasn't been playing well lately. Well, he hasn't been playing well, for a while. Hasn't been playing the same way he's been in 2019. Oh man, what a player!
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah,
and now you have Mo Salah slowly, not really playing as well as he should be. That's one of the main reasons. That could be one of the main reasons why we might not be able to succeed. But in the end, with Klopp, Jurgen Klopp, I think he can deal with everything. He's a great manager, tactician, and hopefully Klopp makes Mo Salah feel more settled in upcoming months, and we can do it.
So Azaz, and just picking up on Mo's thought here, and just thinking about what he said about Egypt and like the media there, or even the Arab world media around that, right? The Ballon d'Or and individual awards are viewed very, very highly, if not on a team level, especially for low representation, right? You're not seeing a ton of Egyptian players, let's say, in across all the major, like the big leagues. But you have one of like ever. I mean, they have some great players. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But do you think that validation for Mo, like what Mo was saying actually here, was like is that weighing on him, and in turn the contract and everything else? So maybe I'll put it this way: if he won the Ballon d'Or last year, right? It wasn't Lua. Do you think this would have been sorted by now in terms of the having that validation personally, country, all that kind of stuff, or do you think it would still be an issue?
I think it would still be an issue because the thing is, contracts are not a reward for what happened before, right? Like contracts, when you give a 30-year-old a 5-year contract, you're not rewarding him for what he did at 27, 28, 29, right? Like it's the big Scottie Pippen thing about like you sign a contract when you sign a contract when you sign the contract, right? So these guys Mane signed in Bobby 2015, Mane 2016, Mo 2017. We weren't the team we were. Well, I mean, Brendan signed Bobby anyway, and here we are. Earlier on I said, earlier on I said we could be like, and I'm being facetious, by the way, like I'm not saying we are going to win the quadruple, just want to put it out there. I'm saying we absolutely effing can win the quadruple. I'm not saying we will win the quadruple. One penalty and you don't win the quadruple. So I'm not being like I'm not being like that. Also, although I am going with my chest out and saying we can win the quadruple. Like we have nothing to fear, but I'm not saying we will. But anyway, so here we are in the situation where Mohamed Salah is 30 years old. He's also arguably the best player in the world. Like you can pull a Benzema lever here, Lewandowski here. It really doesn't matter. It's all a much of a muchness. And he's looking down the road and he's seeing like, okay, so Cristiano's on 500 grand. Well, you don't need to go there because that's GOAT level, like greatest of all time, like conversation. Can't pass a football, but okay, cool. Like he's the greatest footballer of all time. So he's over here. And then, down the same road, but going eastwards, you've got KDB who's on 400 grand. Like, if you are Mo Salah, you're like, well, I'm easily as good as that guy. So like, I should be in that ballpark. The problem is we don't do that. We can't do that. And can we break it for one player or not? That's the $500,000 a week question, right? Because can we? Yes. If you asked Virgil, you make 320, do you want to make 320 and play with Mo, or do you want to make 320 because your money's not going up? Like, so do you want to get paid 320 and play with Mohamed Salah, or do you want to get paid 320 and play with Rafinha or someone who we bring in to replace Mo Salah? You know what his answer is going to be, right? So there's a lot of like things going on right now that make me believe that, like, I don't know if it's about external validation. I think the situation that we're in is, number one, we became on par with the best team in the world, or one of the best teams, or the best, like we are in that conversation. Number two, he became consistently over 5 years one of the best players in the world. And it just ends up like meeting in this like situation where I'm of the mindset where I'm like, does it have to derail this season? Like, that's the thing that I would like, if I had a minute to talk to Mo, like, firstly, I would tell him, thank you for everything he's given to our club. And if this is the last season, if we're going to cash in on him, cool, we can do all the tears and the everything after. But right this minute, like, tell your agent to shut the hell up, right? Yeah, and let's just do this beautiful thing first. And after that, like, maybe it's the time to leave. Maybe after that, it is the time. Because at that point, everybody other than Diaz, Elliott, Jota, and Thiago's won anything anyway, at that point, everyone's won the lot. So, like, you can totally see, like, professionally, people might want to move on, because unlike us, they didn't grow up supporting Liverpool. Like, Mo's not a Liverpool fan growing up, right? So that's my thing at the moment, which is, you're right, Dan, you're absolutely right. You're right to ruffle the feathers. Like, it is something that's weighing on everybody's mind. But, like, the one thing that I would, like, Jake uses the word implore. Like, the word I would say is, like, I would implore these people to get it figured out and just shut up till June is almost here.
So a couple of thoughts to that. So one on the thought of his agent, right? So Rami, right? I actually think by him, debating Klopp or demeaning Klopp via social media after the presser, you saw the emoticons, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that actually shows a bit of weakness. In that he's watching everything. He's waiting, like him as an agent, or Mo, maybe not Mo as much, but him as an agent waiting for some small tidbit to come back or to pick up on or rebut or whatever it may be. That actually shows vulnerability and a little bit of weakness. And I think that also, I don't know, this is just my interpretation, is that implies that they want to get it done. Like, they don't want to leave, but they want it at the right price. Fair. Okay, that's the second thing I want to say, and this is counterintuitive to all the media narrative. We're actually not that good. Liverpool is actually not that good when it comes to, this is going to sound really stupid, but we fucked up. We actually fucked up a lot by saying, back in the summer, after we had a third place finish, and you can bleep this up, by the way, after, that we didn't renegotiate the contract then.
100%.
Like
100%.
Michael Edwards, take some flack. Julian, take some flack. Like, we had an opportunity before his value just went ridiculous, right? I mean, and now there's no point to even debate it. Pundits, narrative, everything, right? So I think we effed up. Honestly, I think we effed up, and we should have done it last year, or at least, realized what his value was and maybe capitalized there. Sorry, Azaz, thought. Or
I was wondering if the other guys.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up the agent one before you guys did, but that's it. That's such a, like, I think of like him, Rami, and then like Kia, those kinds of guys that just want to just put shit in the world, and just like, it has to be messing with his head. Like, I'm sure that he's saying to Mo, like, listen, I'm going to have this plan. I'm going to do this. Please try to get it out of your head and play the game. We need you to play the game well, but I'm just going to do some little chenga on the side here and just basically like put the word out to try to hold them accountable. I may look good, I may look bad, but I just need to ruffle the feathers a little bit just to push that narrative. And it is horrendous. And what you say is like, we've been praising Ward and Edwards for years for their shrewdness with everybody that they've signed, literally. And so you're exactly correct when they've gone to this point of reference. And I used to blame it because they're Boston Red Sox owners, they have no idea, but these ones are not part of that dynamic. They are football people, and they know that they had an opportunity and they should have just spent that money.
They blew it.
They should have done that right then and there, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd be having a different conversation, right? And it's such an interesting dynamic, being like, we do praise our side immensely, but in that notion is just poor judgment, right? Like, and now are they kicking themselves? Like, oh goodness, what are we going to give him? Will they give him anything? You're right. Being the point of reference where like, I've achieved this, do I now get the pull for like the, I don't know, PSGs to play with, the Neymars and Mbappe's, like whoever they go, but that draw is completely there. And sometimes when you reach those echelons, you're like, okay, I'm done with the Prem. I've won the Prem a couple of times now. I've won the Champions League a couple of times now. I've won every cup that I need to cover. And I'm going to try. And then I'm going to try a different style of football. Maybe a technical here. It's not as hard on the body in Spain or whatever else. Maybe I'll try something like that. But I agree with you, Zazu. Like that can be a new kind of dynamic where like, okay, I'm done now. I've been here for several years. I'm going to do a new challenge and grow. As a player in his mind and his agent's mind, right?
Mo, what do you think though? Like, do you think that like Mo Salah has to bear some blame too? He's not a saint in this. At the end of the day, like, the agent can be negotiating this, that, and the other, but he's also come out in some interviews and not fully being on message, if you will, or it's hard to blame him. But like, what do you think about that? Just Mo and his behavior, if you will, or his,
demeanor.
I said initially, and a lot of his behavior is due to how the Egyptian media deal with him, and because he's in this country and he doesn't have much problems. Liverpool, like the fans, I mean, they don't really go against. They never go against him. The manager never. Well, he goes against Mane a lot more than Mo Salah. It has a lot like maybe he's acting up in these interviews and saying, "Oh, we don't know. Well, I don't know where I'm going to be next season," something like that. He definitely loves the club, but there is that bit of him thinking a lot of the people back home would want to see me play in Barcelona, Real Madrid,
or Madrid,
and it's always been this notion, because in the end they will always drool over the fact that their player, an Egyptian player, played for Barcelona or Real Madrid, because that's what's most important there. And maybe always that there's always that in the back of his head, but there's always this other thing that fans like us and other Liverpool fans think. You've seen Coutinho, what happened to him. He was amazing. I was in love with Coutinho, and a bit in me still looks back at his Liverpool goals and his assists and his skills, and I still gaze upon the fact that, wow, what a magician we had in our team. Guy really killed it in midfield. And then he left and he became a bench warmer. No one knew who he was anymore. And he should do that, and he should remember that he left and he couldn't succeed. If I leave, will I be relevant again? And knowing Mo Salah, and let me be honest with you, he's a fantastic player. He gets the goals, he gets the assists, he wins games. Technically, he isn't the best. Technically, Coutinho was better, in my opinion. He knew how to pass, he knew how to dribble, he knew how to shoot from far, from a free kick, everything. Mo Salah, you give him a free kick, he won't do much with it. For example, you know what I mean? But that's not a basis to have a strong point on. All I know is if Mo Salah leaves Liverpool, he won't be as good. And that's probably in the back of his head. If I leave, I won't be as good. But if I leave, I want to have a change. I want to have a breather. I'm playing every game. But in the end, leave, will I ever be as good as I ever was with Liverpool? The answer is no.
It's such a fascinating conundrum, right? I mean, everything coming to a head, the season that we're having in Liverpool, him as a player, top of his game, Egypt, like the country, his own. You know, this is another thing. His own image, right? So he owns his own image rights, but he, for a humble, you know, Arab man, and you know, like just coming out and doing so much commercially and all that kind of stuff too. It's like, you know, people don't think about that, but he's as popular and he's out there as much as like Ronaldo and Messi. Like he's actually out there, like in the States and across the world, all the different mediums and everything else. So like to me, it feels like he thinks he is in that class. He's in that, you know, top 3, top 5, and he is, and we all know that. But the notion in the back of my mind is, does he think he's bigger than Liverpool? And that is where I put the line down, because I love Mo more than anything, you know. But at that point, you're not bigger than the club. I don't. You are amazing, but not to that level. You know what I mean? So
I don't think he thinks he's bigger than the club. I think what one of you folks said before is the real truth, which is he wants to stay at the price. Like what? Because it's one of these things. He wants it all. That's what it is. What the situation, the way it's unfolded here is, so on one hand, he is running out of options, right? Madrid are going the Mbappe route. They're not going to also get Salah. Salah doesn't fit into this new Xavi system. It just doesn't. It's just not going to be a thing. Like he's trying to promote Lam. Like what makes Barcelona every 10, 15 years when Barcelona prime, it's because they're bringing through their youth, right? So you look at the team that won those 2 Champions Leagues and even the 2015 one, but definitely the 2009 and 2011 one. It's Valdez, Puyol, Piqué, even though he had the stint at Man U, Iniesta, Xavi, Messi, Pedro, like Busquets, like come on, like so the DNA of Barcelona's club is have all the La Masia kids with a couple of stars peppered. There's no room for Mo Salah there right now, because Mo Salah is like right now, like he has to win right now. He's 30, right? Paris is not a law that people think it is. No one's having a good time there. Like we put like a spotlight on Ronaldo, but like Messi's not enjoying himself. Mbappe wants to get the F out of there. And you know what And what I want to say is that like the real Paris Saint-Germain with the real Paris people is a good club and is a big club. It's this money, this Qatari money is not, the project's not working out. Like they keep winning the league. The fans seem disconnected from it. The owners want the Champions League. The fans actually want the same thing as I just said about Barca. The fans want like French, Parisian representation. They don't see it. They feel disconnected. They chant, they rebel. Why would you want to go from being like adored to going to somewhere where no one looks like they're having a good time? Like it always looks crap, but he wants to be paid what KDB is getting paid, and he probably even wants to get what Ronaldo's being paid, because to Dan's point, he sees himself in that class. And to be honest with you, of the group that's meant to be taking over from Messi and Ronaldo, he's as valid of a claim as anyone else, you know? So that's my thinking of it, is that like, I don't think he's bigger than the club. I do think he loves Liverpool. And because he loves Liverpool, I don't think he's going to go to another team in England, because he's seen what's happened to Van Persie's and the people, Torres even, like people who don't have like a proper home. Like there's people who don't have like look at Van Persie, right? Robin Van Persie was world class. And for 2 or 3 seasons, he was one of the best players in the world. If Messi and Ronaldo weren't around, arguably he was the next best player in 2011, 2012, 2013. But like Man U fans ain't claiming him, because like it was a 1 season thing. Like it was like a one night stand kind of thing. And Arsenal fans aren't claiming him, so he sits on like great player, world-class talent, and then he sits on like TV shows and stuff, and he's just like he
has Michael Owen syndrom, right?
Yeah,
Michael Owen
great
syndrome.
example.
At the end of the day, that's what it is, right? Because you're splitting that allegiance. No, totally.
And like no one's claiming you. You think that both are claiming you, and it's so funny because some countries can pull it off. like you see some greats who have played at like, Barca and Real isn't a conversation, but Italy, you see so many guys who do the
Ronaldo,
round,
like the original,
the
original,
yeah,
phenomenal, R9.
Inter and AC, and like Roberto Baggio played for Juve, Inter, and AC, and they all like
crazy.
him. Yeah,
Pirlo
Pirlo played for all three of them. Yeah, so like you can make, but in our league, that's not a thing. Like as soon as it's like you taint your legacy, right?
Yeah, completely done.
Absolutely,
completely done.
So
I think we exhausted the Mo topic there.
All good though. All good. Like
all good.
I feel like
good.
what are we saying in I guess to wrap that point up then, is it interfering with our season? Can we just go on regardless? Like what's the deal?
I don't think it's going to have that much of an impact. I mean, as much as we talked about it, and it is a big thing for Liverpool fans and Egyptian fans and folks like that. At the end of the day, I don't think it's going to really impact this season unless Rami goes off on a Twitter tangent or whatever. But to Ahmed's point earlier, getting back to October, Mo, would be the best thing. And I having that sort of, actually this international break, this two-legged affair against Sadio and Senegal, that is going to potentially be something that really spurs him on, maybe. So let's say if Egypt somehow comes up trumps and makes it to the World Cup, maybe that could spur him on the season. But Senegal having obviously the better squad, you sort of fancy them, and
they've also got their victory in the AFCON under their belt as well, right? Like there's just that piece of it. I would love the October Mo to show up. Like who wouldn't? But I even think I think we said it last week or the week before. Like I just can't bet against our 5 strikers. Like I think this can come down to firepower. Like even a February or March Mo is better than having no striker.
And he's been injured too. He picked up a knock, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like he.
And he is still the top scorer, and he is still double figures in assists. So like, even if he's like, we get to, I don't want to jinx the City game, but like, we get to Watford and he's like holding a left, or he's not holding, a left back and a centre back are holding him. And it means that like Mane and Diaz are running riot. Like, I'll take it. Like it's ain't about the personal things anymore. Like if Mo's on the pitch, he's got 2 men on him, which means we can 9 versus 10 the rest of the team kind of thing, or 9 versus 8 if we don't count the goalkeepers. I'll take it. Like if that's his role and it means that we are springboarded to the next level, cool. Like it is that piece of it. But I feel like, comparisons to like the great teams who have won multiple trophies, dare I even say United in 99, or like Inter in 2010, or Barcelona in 2009, they were stacked up front. They were stacked, all of them. Like they had the 4, like York, Cole, Sheringham, and Solskjaer. Barcelona,
Eto'o, Milito.
Eto'o was on both. So Eto'o was on. He was like Eto'o, Messi, and Henry for Barcelona in 2009. They won a treble. No, Larson had left
by then.
Yeah, and then the next season it was Milito, Eto'o. What was the other guy called? The left-footed Eastern European guy. Anyway,
I know you're talking about.
Macedonian guy, right?
The Macedonian.
Stankovic?
No, it wasn't Stankovic. He was in midfield. It'll come back to me. Pandev. Yeah, Pandev was lethal that season. Yeah. So it's like firepower is really important at this part of the season, right?
Absolutely.
Right. I'm just looking at the time. We gotta wrap it up because we are trying to keep it on time right now. Everyone has to give their hot take though. We're gonna get into the season as normal next week by week predictions. But right now, from now to the end of the season, don't have to go out and say we're gonna win 2 or we're gonna win 3. Nothing like that. But just give your thoughts.
Or if you want to do it.
if you wanna go out swinging that way, you can. But yeah, just a summary thought to like close off our international week episode.
Ahmed?
Jake? Oh, okay.
You want me to start?
Ahmed, yeah, go.
Putting me in the tough situation. I always thought that this season, from the very beginning, or like from the mid of the season, that we were going to win the Champions League. I feel like if we get anyone in the final with our European pedigree, we can take them on. I think we're only going to win the Champions League. I have a bad. I'm usually pessimistic with these. I'm not like most of the fans say no, we'll win it all. But I don't know. It's just that feeling that when Man City are level with us in points and we're playing them at the Etihad, and I think we're gonna draw that game. Just I think we're gonna draw that game, and I think City will win all the other games because this has happened in 2019. Although we can win it. We have a great chance. We can still win it. Could go the other way around. They could probably fuck up against. Sorry for the swearing against.
No, it's all good.
It's okay. I did. I'm good.
Yeah.
If not, I think it's gonna be the FA Cup and the Champions League. But I don't think
that would be something.
Just because I don't know. It's just this. Us Liverpool fans, we've dealt with this all our lives. I really hope we do. The one I want the most is the Premier League. The one I think we're gonna get to Champions League and possibly the FA Cup.
I think that it's going to be the Champions League as well and the Cup. Why do I say that? Is because I think when we play those teams, they don't park the bus. Then they need to score. So as a result of that style of play that the other teams have to come out, that leaves us gaps all over the place. And we love to play against attacking teams because we find the spaces and gaps. Those park the bus people, which is going to be some of those people going to play in the league. They're going to be parking the bus. They're going to be having 11 guys behind the ball, which is tough. I think we can still win a lot of those games, but I think that premise is going to be tough. So I think with respect to that, I think the Champions League is doable for sure. Beating Benfica, getting to Bayern, and then whoever we get into the final from that standpoint, and the Cup, because everyone we want to play in the Cup, whoever that would be, again, City and whatever else, are wanting to play attacking football. So again, that kind of goes into our foray and what we're about. So that's what I think.
I think the Champions League is going to be freaking difficult from now on. Not Benfica, maybe even Benfica, but I think it's our fixtures. Like, okay, Watford aside, come back from international break, a lot of pressure on our main guys, right? I mean, even Diaz and the Brazilian lads are there too, right? So it's like everyone's away. Yeah, there's a bit of shithousery with Trent and Robbo and all that, but getting back into that rhythm, I'm kind of glad we're playing every 2 or 3 days, matches, so that we're just in a rhythm. But if there's one injury to, let's say, Trent, our creative force, or Robbo, or Fab, for example, just one key cog, that could upset the apple cart. Now, one thing on the Champions League though is that, say we get past Benfica, Bayern ain't no joke, guys. Bayern ain't no joke. And Nagelsmann's Leipzig or who was it before? Hoffenheim way back when. But he's good and they're good. Now, obviously, Jurgen, you put your money on Jurgen any day of the week, but they're going to be tough if we even progress. If we progress to that point, and then final, who knows? But I'm so glad City's not on our side of the draw, so I can see that. FA Cup is going to be tough. You're playing City and then Chelsea potentially, right? Palace, who knows? So that's up in the air. The league, though, I feel for some reason it's not. I feel we're going to win that match at the Etihad. That's just my gut feel, and that's an optimism. I'm usually I'm at a bit, a little bit pessimistic. Yeah, it's away, blah, blah. I actually think we're going to win that, but could we get tripped up by a silly, United, for example, nothing to play for, and but the rivalry's there. They always historically have done it to us, right? The blue, the blue shite, do they pop up somehow, some way? I don't know. So, but all those matches are going to be right in the thick of things. So I don't know. It's going to be tough, man. And winning 10 straight games or something like that, to close out the season, that's, I don't know. We can definitely do it, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So I'm optimistic. I just want to say anything right now. You guys are all yeah, I'm going to win this. I'm just no. Just want to soak it all in,
Yeah. So a couple of points. I feel firstly, the more and more I think about the Man City being on the other side of the draw, I don't know if that's necessarily an advantage. I would rather avoid City in the Champions League now, because they're on the other side of the draw. I think if they were on our side of the draw, I think the teams are very evenly matched. I think our Anfield trumps their Etihad. So I feel like the double, like that fixture almost works against us. Now I just want Real or some Chelsea to eliminate City, because I don't want a one-on-one match against City, because they're equally as good as us. I think we're better than Chelsea. I definitely think we're better than Atletico Madrid, because number one, look at where they are in their league, and number two, we beat them twice this season. And I do think we're better than Real Madrid as well. So, like, I would fancy our chances in a one-off game. Like Tottenham, for example, like I rolled into that final being like, yeah, we got this, right? Like, it wasn't the same the year earlier, even though we were flying and we were the form team. And sure, the Ramos injury, the Mo injury and stuff is changed the complexion of the game. But at the same time, I didn't walk into that game the same way I felt the year later. So, yeah, they're on the other side of the draw, but I would like to not face them in the final. That's what I would say there. Etihad, I am with Dan, because I think they have to play. Particularly because they're at home, particularly because it's Guardiola, and particularly because they've lost a 14-point lead to us.
The pressure's on them.
And if Burnley are able to just do the same thing Palace did, then they really have to come out, because then they have to win. If the game is that we have to win, then a draw is like a defeat to us in a way. Because whenever we're doing this math, we're always saying, well, we beat City. Like in all these permutations, like we beat City. And if we don't beat City, then we don't get those 3 points. And more importantly, they don't lose those 0 points, right? We split 1-1. So now we're asking for another favor. And those last like 7 games are pretty winnable for Man City, right? So so the Burnley game running. Key. Yeah, 100%. And it's week by week, right? Because even though we both play Newcastle, for example, but the week we play Newcastle, they play Newcastle, we're playing Tottenham. The week they play Newcastle, we ain't playing, like it is in their favor, like week by week, like head to head. But what I do think about the situation is the Burnley game is key. The Watford and Burnley games are key. If we go into that game 1 point behind them, I think the ball is in their court to attack us, because they're home and it's Guardiola and the whole emotion of stuff. All the best in that situation, because us on the counter and on the break is even more dangerous than when we have the ball. Like, we're a brilliant team with the ball, but if we're actually getting to pick off like Stones or like isolating Stones, like Diaz, and if Mane's 9 and Diaz is on the left, like Walker and Stones trying to manage a counter attack with Diaz and Mane, or like Mane and Salah, like no. Like, that's in our favor, right? So it's those little things that are, but you know what? My summary of the whole thing is it's just so friggin' exciting. Like, I can't, you know what? There's just something about it that just won't let you get nervous. It's so much to lose. There's so much to win. There's so much to lose. In the moment, every game, and hopefully I'll see you all on every single game, I'll be nervous every time. But right now, I'm just really trying to like be present and enjoy it, because like this is what we support this wonderful club for, right? And finally, after like all our years, we've got to this point where we can win it all. I don't want to psych myself out, particularly like 9 days before a match. Like this time next week, I'll be a little bit like, oh, like, I don't know about this like early kickoff against Watford and stuff. But like right now, I'm just kind of like, you know what? It's going to be a phenomenal time. And I'm so excited to spend it with all of you guys.
Cheers on that note.
Yes, man. Well said.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, to wrap that up, once again, just going to plug this thing here. Free member event. You have to be a member, but you can also get a membership for $20, get in for free, and get 2 free drinks. So really, did you pay anything for your membership? I don't know if you did. In that context, we've got Dan will be playing that way. Actually, Dan will be playing with Benny. I'm sure there'll be other people jumping on the mic as well.
And Ahmed will be singing, and Azaz will be singing.
Exactly.
Jake will be singing.
100%.
Are you coming? Is that Ahmed? Are you coming?
Yeah, I'll come for an hour or two. Maybe it's just there's a friend's birthday happening the same night, so I have to go to there and then jump to there. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, the singing's
we'll save the best songs for you.
Yeah.
If Benny's there, I know he will. The best songs, the Beatles. I love the Beatles as well, and that's also one of the reasons I support Liverpool. Actually, the Beatles. Yeah.
No doubt.
Any last words, Jake? Take us home.
Kudos to thank you, Ahmed, for joining us there, young man. We sincerely appreciate all your efforts week in and week out when you're at the pub, and just helping us to grow the community and making the connections you have and spreading your goodwill and cheer to us all. It's super infectious, and we sincerely appreciate that and all of your efforts and your goodwill. We really, really do love you, bro, and we appreciate that. Get your tickets. Join the crew. We've got some really big things coming up for this Friday and for the summertime and next year. You have no idea. Really big things. So please look at our pages, look at our social media, and join the family.
Look at our president. Well said.
And on that note, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Ta.
See you next week.